Let's set the scene. 6 June 2019. It's the Cricket World Cup. India versus Sri Lanka, the 43rd over, and just 2 runs needed. Tensions are high. Can India make the semi-finals? Suddenly, an ad comes around. Classic television. But it's of a fairness cream, something that is not at all related to cricket. I sit in surprise as a darker woman gets rejected for a job, turns to a fairness cream, and voila, 1 week later lands the job. And she's much lighter than before. After the match, which was a win for India if you were interested, I did some quick research and found skin lightening products are everywhere. From newspaper ads to billboards, from your local snack shop to the sidelines of a sports game. Everywhere. As it turns out, India is addicted to fair skin. According to a Vice study, almost 60% of the women in India have used a skin lightening product before, and a further 10% of men, which has blown up in the past few years. That's almost 472 million men and women respectively. So why is India and the Indian subcontinent in general so interested in fairness? Let's dive in. Hello everyone, my name is Angad and today we'll be exploring the topic of colorism and the usage of skin lightening products to obtain a lighter skin color. First things first, we must look into what even are fairness creams for the people who don't know. Well, essentially these are creams that are used to lighten skin and help protect the skin from UV rays. Most fairness creams have a chemical called hydroquinone, which reduces the level of melanin in your body. So this pigment controls how dark or light the skin is. Remember, the more the melanin, the darker the person is. Melanin actually develops by the exposure you have to the sun's UV rays. You see, this actually makes sense. People who are closer to the equator, like for example in Africa, they have much darker skinned or are even more tanned than people who live further away from the equator, like in Europe or North America. But that still raises the question, why do people use fairness creams? Is it because they want to look fairer? Is it because they want to try something new? It actually goes way deeper than that.
And I remember I was admitted in class 1 and your friends calling you a blackie queen or something. Friends means classmates.
We have stories of parents, who shared with me how one of their child is slightly lighter than the other one, but the one that's lighter is chosen for all the school pictures and plays and put in center stage, whereas the one that's darker is sidelined.
So, but when I was a child, my skin was a bit darker. So yeah, that time I feel somewhere offended, and they used to say she's having a dark skin tone and something.
जैसे हम काले हैं तो हमसे काले कहने लगे कि वो काली है, या हम लूले हैं तो हमसे लूले बोलने लगे.
मेरे घर वाला बहुत गोरा था, बहुत सुंदर था.
ये तो बोलता है अभी भी आएगा ना मेरे से माफी उपी मांगेगा ना, तो फिर मैं चले जाएंगे. कैसे जाएगा जो अभी जाने से मार देगा तब.
All these reasons closely tie into a concept known as colorism. And yes, it does sound similar to racism, and it is similar yet very different. So colorism is a discrimination of one's skin color, where a lighter skin is considered to be superior over a darker skin in a community. Racism is also a form of discrimination, but it refers to the discriminations of one's ethnicity and race. As racism has evolved through the decades, it is now common to categorize a skin color to an ethnicity. For example, white people are considered Caucasian, black are African, and brown are Asian or Latin American. In these modern times, there are more subtle ways that showcase colorism still heavily exists in our communities. The little things like preferring a lighter skinned child to a darker child, favoring a lighter skinned person for a job, only choosing a lighter skinned groom for your daughter's marriage, and many more examples. These hints showcase that colorism is deeply rooted in cultures across the world and will only go away with force. So, colorism is nothing new. It has existed in communities way before fairness creams were even a thing. Did this only start during the British colonization or perhaps during the Mughal era? I still had this burning question in mind, so I connected with Nikki Khanna, a professor of sociology, specializing in race and ethnicities in the University of Vermont.
India has this history of colonization by Europeans, in particular by the British. And so there's a lot of debate over historians is whether this is a newer phenomenon in places like India or whether it has also existed for thousands of years. And I think it's probably unfair to say that the British caused the problem, but they probably exacerbated a problem that was already there.
So yes, even though historians can't exactly say when this thought actually began, it has been existing through many generations. This thought process has probably even evolved through many eras in Indian history. First, the Mughals, who were much fairer than the local Indians as they originated from Persia, or the British, who were much fairer than even the Persians and clearly showcased a preference to lighter Indians than darker ones. It is also believed that the 3,000-year-old caste system also adds to the reason for why this thought exists. The system defined the social status in the Indian civilizations long ago. At the top are the Brahmins, the priests and the teachers, the Kshatriyas, the warriors and rulers, the Vaishyas or the farmers, traders and merchants, the Shudras or the laborers, and lastly the Dalits or the outcasts. These were the sweepers and latrine cleaners. But there is more. The concept of colorism has even reached the Indian entertainment hub, Bollywood.
When I do let's say an upper middle class character, a class that I come from, often the directors would come and tell you, listen, this is a slightly upper class character. Do you mind making it a little bit fair? I hope you don't mind.
But apart from history, there are many more current factors that drive people to turn to skin lightening products. Yes, so people want their child to be fairer and more beautiful. As mentioned earlier, they want that power and status that comes with having a lighter skin, which has been passed down through centuries. They also want that child to be lighter and bring in more suitors for her, and hence we see thousands of matrimonials in newspapers almost advertising that a child has light skin, which is even more important than her having a bachelor's in medicine. Marriages are a huge deal in India. Over 10 million weddings happen every year, and around 50 million people are actually invited to every one of those weddings. And with those 10 million weddings, around 90% are arranged by family members. And again, having a fair skin is a huge part of the deal. And of course, there is a light in this darkness, as there is with any issue in the world. Thousands of young women and men are fighting against this thought of fairer being better. Social media campaigns have been made where people can express their beautiful dark skin without any hatred, like the hashtag #UnfairAndLovely hashtag with over 45,000 posts on Instagram. We have campaigns run by activists wanting to make a change, like the Dark is Beautiful campaign run by Ms. Kavita Emanuel. They work with youths and adults who have faced discrimination in the past, spreading awareness about this matter. We have celebrities who are speaking out with the discrimination that they have faced, and some who are condemning others who have done skin lightening product commercials. Actress Nandita Das, Ali Faisal, Radhika Apte, Swara Bhaskar, Vikrant Massey and more have worked with campaigns to spread awareness about this issue. Actor Abhay Deol has even slammed Sonam Kapoor on Twitter for endorsing skin lightening creams, further adding to that classic Twitter entertainment. Except this time it's a serious issue. Fashion brands are starting to use darker men and women as models for photo shoots. There was a WhatsApp emoji update in 2015 which allowed users to choose darker skin tones, and generally more people are starting to talk about it. But of course, like anything in the world, we can't just sit around and wait for something to happen, because there are still hundreds of thousands of women and a few men who are being called out, bullied, made fun of, discriminated. We must help these people when their families or friends can't help them. Talk to them, work with campaigns, change the outlook, but most importantly, spread the message. As of me, I believe our skin is just a canvas. It is our thoughts, experiences, and emotions that paint us who we are.
Be comfortable in whatever you're doing, because it's not the color of your skin that matters. It is what is inside you that matters. And how you think and what you do is matters.
And everyone's value. If you're a human being, you're valuable. You're beautiful just the way you are. And just groom yourself well. Be proud. Walk with your head held high. And if anybody brings toxic notions of beauty and self-worth, just reject it and keep saying no.